each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Happy Trudging Tuesday. That's what we're going to call this. It's no longer Taco Tuesday, though you can still eat tacos if you want. Welcome. Trudging Together. Daily Trudge. Club Trudge. Let's look up Trudge. Absolute Leisure. Good to see you, brother. Love you, dude. All right. Definition of trudging.
Here's the definition of trudge. Walk slowly and with heavy steps, typically because of exhaustion or harsh conditions.
Yeah. Not quite what we were going for, though, huh? What is the simple meaning of trudging? To walk slowly with a lot of effort, especially over a difficult surface, right? So it does. It goes with one. Let's try trudge, see if we get something else. What is the definition of trudge?
Here's the definition of trudge. Walk slowly and
Same
with heavy steps.
Same thing. Today we are talking about turning our past into a healing circuit. I just took a couple things out of the big book, 2 separate lines, and shoved them together. So I got that one. Oh man, I forgot my water. I gotta grab that. Gotta have my water. Gotta have talking juice. I'm trying to get rid of all the caffeine and sugar in my life. Usually I have my soda right here next to me. This is my cup. It's empty. I was allowed a little bit this morning. But yeah, I'm kind of proud of myself. Get rid of the soda. It just kind of came about. I was having some tooth problems. I like my soda with ice, and it was hurting my teeth. The cold was, so I decided that I was going to go ahead and, since I wasn't drinking much anyway, but I also didn't want to spend my time detoxing from it. No thanks. I would detox from so many things so many times in this fucking life. So, man, my stomach's fucking with me. If I shut down quickly and go away, I'll probably come back and do this one because yeah, thanks. I kind of figured you were gonna bring that up, Leisure. Yeah, it's nothing worse than an ex-smoker. Just kidding. Leisure said just don't replace the sugar and caffeine with more nicotine. No, my the sugar and the caffeine enhances it. I hate to do this. I'm going to mute, and I may be gone for 2 or 3 minutes. So I apologize, but I don't have a choice. This doesn't happen to me often. But I will be back as soon as I can. I'm not going to shut it down. So if you want to hang out, please feel free to hang out. But I'll be back in a minute. Okay. All right. I know you are, Leisure. I was just trying to have fun with you, brother. I love you, dude. I'll be back in a minute. All right. There we go. Thank you for letting me do that. Not really a good podcast etiquette to go silent for minutes. I guess I could have just put on the theme song for you. The full length song, actually, from the theme song. I guess I could have put that on for you, gave you some entertainment. All right. Well, we're 7 minutes in, so we're going to go ahead and say welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm going to be your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Got a lot of rewatches. So the reading, good morning, Sharon. Good to see you. The reading today is actually from the Al-Anon Courage to Change. Now, there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of benefits for us alcoholics if we're willing to accept and do certain things like trudge the happy road of destiny. It's about turning our past into good account. And when we can do that, when any human being can do that, because I believe that people can change. All right. So, but let's kind of get into it. Let's get into it. There can be great value in examining the past. All right. So when it comes to the past, we have to get to a point where we're not ashamed by it, that there's no more blame or guilt. There might be a little bit of guilt. Guilt can be turned into something useful, though. Blame and shame, no, cannot be really turned into anything useful. Shame turns into self-pity. Shame is an inward beating up. Blame is an outward beating up. But either way, we're fighting. And we've stopped fighting everything and everyone, including alcohol. We used to say, don't be mad at the person, be mad at the disease. And it kind of makes sense. That alleviates a little bit for you to be able to help that person. Maybe they're spiritually sick. But we got to stay away from words like toxic. Well, that person's toxic. But for the grace of God, go I. If I was to jump on that wagon, I'd have to say, while I was drinking, I was a pretty toxic person too. Yeah, I'm sure there are people that have been in my life that to this day would still tag me with that. Right? None of my business. It's not for me to change their mind. But anyway, right? So it can offer information about the present as well as clues that might help us make changes for a better future. Now, I utilize my past and what I go through. I try and be transparent. I try and be vulnerable. That does not equal weakness. It actually equals courage. All right. See, I ain't got nothing to hide anymore. I don't need to hide anything. There's nothing to hide. If I'm in a bad mood and I come on here, I tell you. Heck, last week was a little rough, huh? A little rough for Dion. I made it through. I don't think I owe anybody an amends. Maybe I should review that today. I'll do that during my therapist time. She sent me a message. She's not feeling well. So I hope she's feeling better. And see, that was nice. Because usually when it was like my therapy, I'd be like, oh man, no, I need my fucking therapy. Yeah, no, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'd rather that she was feeling better. My therapist is awesome. And we'd probably be friends, but it'd be a violation of HIPAA. So, but yeah, it's what it is, right? It states in the big book quite often, because I hear a lot of people saying that they don't even think about their past. And I'm like, yeah, or not. I don't live, and the thing is, we don't live in the past anymore. Okay. We got to get to a point of no regrets. And that's going to take some work. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some digging inside. A lot of digging. I hope you know how to use a shovel. All right. For those of us who denied, distorted, or lost our touch with painful memories, facing I accidentally answered a spam call. I was supposed to review it. That's all right. It's a spam call. If it's really important, I'll call back. It said suspected spam caller, but it was a local number. 720-821. I'm sorry, let me look at this real quick because I'm expecting some stuff. So, okay. No, it was not. Okay. All right, cool. All right. A lot of interruptions this morning, huh? That's life in action. It's the 10th step to know that it's okay that things can be disrupted. And thank you for hanging out and holding space for me, man. I appreciated that. I appreciated that. So, all right. Facing the reality of our past can be a critical part of our Al Anon recovery. Fond memories must also be recognized if we hope to look back in a realistic way. I like that. I like that realistic way. Yeah, spam does use 720. They do what's called a mock number. Right. It's not even really from there. I'll tell you what it was. They want me to be listed on Google. Well, your customers can't find you. That's what happens when you sign up for an EIN. You start getting a bunch of phone calls. EIN is employee identification number. It is used in business, start an LLC, so you can get your bank account. It has its own credit, things like that. I don't use my EIN for that. I just got it because I needed it because one day I'll be 501c3. I'm going to need the EIN. So there it is. Trading Together's had an EIN for 4 or 5 years now. All right. But I haven't paid it. So it's actually not a totally legitimate company, but the EIN's still valid. Anyway, I'm off on topic here. There's a part I can't remember if it's in the family afterward or working with others. I think it's in the family afterward and there's Comfort Dental North Glen. I canceled that appointment. I don't know why they're calling me. So I had it anyway. Doesn't matter. I've got to redo some things. Going to the dentist, it is really bringing out my anxiety, and I'm having a hard time with it. I will get there though. I will get there. I'm mustering my courage. All right. I'll get it done. Okay. So, but it says in the family afterward that it says we almost recount the past in order to help other people. Now, that doesn't mean that I need to re-traumatize myself. See, PTSD comes with, let me kind of describe PTSD to you real quick, just so that you understand a little bit. And every alcoholic has at least a little form of PTSD when we get in the program. The 12 steps may take care of it. Not always. I needed outside help. Leisure says, live in the moment, brother, and it'll all work out. Thanks for reminding. I appreciate that, Leisure. I like that reminder. All right. And you're right. We can utilize the past while living in the moment. So when you see somebody having an anxiety attack, or maybe we don't have PTSD attacks. It comes with anxiety. Okay. For me, it felt like everybody in the fucking world was against me. It's how it felt. And what it is it's a memory that feels like it's happening right now. So your body reacts. Your body reacts to it. And it's really weird, right? And what I had to do is I had to go to therapy. And until I did EMDR and stuff, I wasn't able to talk about certain things that happened to me in the past until I had settled them. I cannot transmit something I do not have. And that includes a healing circuit. And I've got to become my own healing circuit so I can pass that on. So I did EMDR. I'm going to use the man that raised me. Whenever I thought of him, I went back to this one car ride that we had where I was on pass from Mount Airy Psychiatric Center. And usually my mom would take me back, but he decided that he was going to take me because I guess he had some words for me. And I'm not going to tell you what he said because it doesn't matter. But it was traumatic. It was very threatening. Very threatening. At least he told me the truth for once. Pretty much said he didn't love me and he wanted me gone. That's what it came down to. Well, whenever I thought of him, I was reliving that moment. I was 14 years old again, right? Now for me, there's still times when I'm like, that motherfucker, right? But it's usually supplanted by, well, he's spiritually sick, I've forgiven, but I do not forget. Because people are like, forgive and forget. Well, if I forget what happened, then I can't work through it. And then I'm not going to be able to help other people when they go through the same situation. A lot of people ask me for advice. Hey, Dion, I'm in this situation. What should I do? And I've got resources. If I can't do something, because I have the resources that I hand out are resources I use. That I use on a personal level. I'll give you a really good example of that: Overcomers Counseling. Okay. I highly recommend them because I've had nothing but great experiences. Even this morning, I got up, my appointment isn't until 2. Overcomers Counseling didn't reach out to me. My therapist reached out to me. And why is that? Because she has time to do it, because Overcomers is very good at taking care of their employees. That's the main thing. One of the first questions I asked my therapist was, do you like your job? Not helping other people, but do you like where you work? And she's like, oh yeah, the last place I was at was horrible. And this place does this, and those take a big account for me. I talk to the employees. How do you like working here? Sharon says you're right, and I'm thankful you sent me there. You're absolutely, Sharon. Absolutely. In the last month, I probably sent 10 people to Overcomers Counseling. I probably send more clients to them than doesn't matter though. My therapist knows, but yeah, I don't really need to. Yeah, I told my therapist, I'm like, you guys at least owe me a t-shirt. But and it's a joke. I don't want anything. I don't need anything. What are they going to give me? Free sessions? I'm on Medicaid. Right? So the steps help. There's a process. Cognitive behavioral therapy is the cognitive behavioral therapy is the replacement of things. Leisure says maybe switch to American Spirits, which is a type of cigarettes with no nicotine in it. I will still smoke the same amount It isn't the nicotine for me. It's a lot more than that. Very good suggestion, though, because American Spirits doesn't have nicotine in it. Carltons have very little nicotine in them. They're also twice as expensive, and I can't afford it. Yeah. But thank you very much, Leisure. It is something that I have been working on, my quitting smoking. But we're here to talk about alcoholism. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore, Leisure. I love you. You know, I'm easily distracted. Yeah, they have a little bit of nicotine, but not much compared to other things. And they also burn a lot slower, so you can smoke half. All right. Oh. So, what are some of the benefits? Well, let's get through Courage to Change here first. All right. So, still, it is important to remember that the past is over. We are powerless over what has gone before. You ever see those things where if you could go back and tell your 15-year-old self 3 words, or if you had 2 minutes to, my 3 words would be good luck, dude. I would not convince myself to do something else. First of all, that ain't gonna happen. But it's a good example. I wouldn't change a thing about my past. Do I have a little bit of regret and a little bit of guilt for hurting a lot of people? Yes, absolutely I do. If I could take all that back, I would. I would. If I could make it right, I would. I stand willing to do that. Okay. But there are ex-girlfriends out there. Just the thought of Dion is gonna fucking piss them the fuck off. Right? I caused trauma. Okay. Now, not something I'm too proud of, but since I have settled it, since I have utilized forgiveness, since I forgave myself, and I sat down and did that 5th step, God forgave me. And then I was able to use my past as a healing circuit for other people. Yeah. What is a circuit? It's like a fuse. I'm a fuse. So you plug me in there, I can complete the circuit for you. I can help you get to those aha moments. I'm depth and weight to the people out there that not sure whether they want to recover. We are the people that let other people know just exactly how their alcoholism or their addiction is hurting other people, because the biggest denial is, oh, I'm not hurting anybody. That's why we drink and use alone. Sharon says, a book I was directed to get today was the Mindful Self Compassion Workbook. I love suggestions. This is where people kind of get to know me. I would recommend sticking with the 12 steps in the beginning. That's a self-help book. And when we don't know how to help ourselves yet, they don't do much good. I would recommend getting to meetings, getting a sponsor. When you do the compassion workbook, and I'm sure it's a great book. Don't get me wrong. Okay. There's a time and place for things. That workbook you're going to be doing yourself. Okay. But the opposite of addiction is fellowship. Addiction is an isolating disease. Fellowship helps us get to a place where we need people. And that book is not going to help you get fellowship. But do keep it, because there'll be a point in time when that will be a very good book for you. All right. So I don't want to put anything down. I love you too, Sharon. I love you too. It isn't easy to always confront, but there's a right way to do it. Was that confrontation? Sure, it was. Doesn't always have to be overbearing or and of course that's just my opinion. Sharon says I agree and love your opinion. She posted that at the same time I was saying that. That they are my opinions. They're also my experience. And I really do want everyone to have the same great shot that I had at this program. That's what I want. And yeah, that's a want, but it's in line with God's will. So it isn't just my want, is because that's what God wants. I'm also not under the Patricia says I use more words than you. I say to her, thanks, girl, but now I'm in charge. Yeah, nice, Patricia. When we're talking to ourselves about PTSD, is what she was commenting on, right? So, awesome stuff. All right. Still is important. Remember, the past is over. We're powerless over what is. Although we can take steps to make amends, we cannot change the fact that we have harmed others. And we cannot change the fact that others have harmed us. We have only the power to change this present day. It's the only thing that you can change. There are certain things that only. Sorry, I'm reading up here also. So let me let me reread that. We have only there are certain things that can only happen right now. Happiness is one of them. Stability, balance. Yeah. What I've been doing lately, and because I had gotten away from it last week, I got a little away from it, but I've been asking God, like this morning, yesterday I had a good day. I did some yard work. I still got some things done, but I've been asking God, hey, help me have a better day. I had a great day yesterday. Can you help me have another one? So, Sharon, I see your question and I will get to it. The best use we can make of the past is to face it and then move on. Gotta face it. I call this facing the snakes. All right. That's what we do in the 4th and 5th step. We got to face the snakes. Okay. And I recommend that you do this willingly. See, when I was in AA the first time, there are some things I did not cover. I did not really get down to causes and conditions on my 4th step. I obtained 12 years of sobriety. Okay. There were some things I didn't remember. Some things have been shut out. Right. But I don't really think I ever got down to the causes and conditions the first time I did the 4th step. So when I did the 4th step this time, even though I'd done one before, I went ahead and did everything. Right. And this time it stuck for me. Last time, I don't think I really had a sponsor that knew what they were doing with the 4th step. So. And it wasn't Ray. He was my first sponsor, but it moved. And it ended up with, I had a bunch of sponsors when I was in the Phoenix Concept. So I don't remember any of their names. All right. The best use we can make. We certainly learn from all that we have experienced, but it mustn't let us hold us back from living here and now. Today's reminder, I will not get so bogged down in dealing with old wounds that I forget about new growth. The past is but the beginning of the beginning. H.G. Wells. All right. So now we're going to go to Google. What time is it? Okay. I got 15 minutes. What are the benefits with settling your past? It's going to tell us the same thing it always does. Reduce stress and anxiety, enhance self-awareness, improved emotional, greater forgiveness. We'll cover that one. Okay. Settling with your past, whether through reflection, forgiveness, or letting go, can lead to reduced stress, increased self-awareness, and a greater capacity for growth and positive relationships, ultimately fostering a more fulfilling and present and future. Yeah, so one of the benefits is your relationships get better because you're being who you're supposed to be. There's nothing worse than dealing with that Mr. Hyde, man. He's a son of a gun, right? Um, greater forgiveness. That's the one that I kind of wanted to cover. Forgiving yourself and others can release emotional baggage and resentment, fostering healthy relationships and promoting overall well-being. Okay. Yeah, when you're not so worried about everything that you've done. The whole point of doing all of this, at least for us in AA, is to remove the obstacles in our path that help us to help others, or what we would call standing in the sunlight of the Spirit. I'm the only person that blocked me from God. Nobody else is even capable of doing that. Nobody is capable of blocking the sunlight of the Spirit. I'm the only one that can do that. Okay. Reduced guilt and shame. I'm just gonna hit on some of these. Grace, empowerment. Yeah, we've covered all of this. I like this one. You can embrace the better version of you. That I like, right? So what it helps us do is it clears away a lot of stuff because not everything about us is bad. Then you can when you get rid of that stuff or you settle it, then you can start to see the things that you're good at and you can improve on those. So we go from setting ourselves up to fail to setting ourselves up to succeed. And there's a great place in the book for that. It's in Dr. Bob's Nightmare. We'll read it, and then I'm going to answer Sharon's question, and then I'm going to wrap up. I always thought that Dr. Bob's Nightmare should be a part of the first 164, personally. All right. 180, the very bottom, if you would like to follow along. It is a most wonderful blessing to be relieved of my terrible curse with which I was afflicted. My health is good, and I have regained my self-respect and the respect of my colleagues. My home life is ideal, and my business is as good can be expected in these uncertain times. I spend a great deal of passing on what I learned to others who want it and need it badly. I do it for 4 reasons. And this is what I'm talking about here, right? I spend a great deal of time, Pat. What's he doing? He's ensuring his sobriety. He is setting himself up to succeed. There's 4 reasons that he does it. Number 1, a sense of duty. I said duty. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. There's still a child in me. There's a part of Dion that never got to play. Right. So every now and again he pops out, and nothing wrong with it. There's a difference between understanding my inner child and being childish. There's a big difference. So sense of duty. Yeah. What about the person that passed it on to me? What about the person that spent hours and hours and hours explaining it to me word by word through the big book, taking his time at 10 o'clock at night, all sorts of things. Hundreds of people, hundreds of hours spent on Dion, freely given. I received it freely and I give it away. Give it away. Give it away now. Little Red Hot Chili Peppers. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Oink. Right. I'm stimming. So a sense of duty. I feel responsible. 2, it is a pleasure. I love it. I get such a high from helping other people that I want more. And yes, I'm sure some people could utilize, well, that's an addiction. Sure the fuck is. Yep, I'm addicted to helping people. Right? But it's a healthy addiction. And there's got to be balance in that too. There's got to be balance. Right? Last week I spent 5 days in a row, tearing shit down, burning bridges that needed to be burnt. Right? Then I took the weekend for me. I didn't do any work. And I'm probably not really going to do any work today either. I might get a couple of things done, but not hot and heavy, because I found myself out of balance. Out of balance. I was focused on a lot of negative things that other people were doing. But when Dion does that, it pulls me back into it. And then I will get that same attitude, right? So got to be careful on that. 3, because in so doing, I'm paying my debt to the man who took time to pass it on to me. Yay. 4, because every time I do it, I take a little more insurance for myself against a possible slip. Now, I'm going to read the rest of this, but I want to answer Sharon's question. I'm in search of a sponsor. If anyone can direct me, please. There's a few ways to find a sponsor. Okay. But the first thing, okay, and I'm just giving direction because I'm not, and this is not me assuming that I know what you're doing or not doing. Let me put it that way. The first thing is we need to go to meetings. Those are where the sponsors are at. When you find somebody, if they do, is anybody here willing to sponsor line, which is not Dion's favorite, then the people that raise their hand, if any of those say, or if they have what you want, then that's a good choice. And you got to ask. Or you can go to some other meetings, like the grassroots. We don't ask who here is willing to sponsor. We ask who here needs a sponsor. And then if there's somebody there that can sponsor, they are to approach you, which is how it's described in the big book. Now remember, AA alcoholics, NA drug addiction. They're 2 different arenas. Okay. So go by your drug of choice. We call it DOC. Right? Drug of choice. Not Department of Corrections for some of us, but DOC. Drug of choice. If I was to put alcohol and weed and some of the other drugs that you've done, which one would you pick first? That's your drug of choice. Okay. Unlike most of our crowd, I did not get over my craving for liquor much during the first 2.5 years of abstinence. It was almost always with me, but at no time have I been anywhere near yielding. I used to get terribly upset when I saw my friends drink and knew I could not, but I schooled myself to believe that though once I had the same privilege, I had abused it so frightfully that it was withdrawn. So it doesn't behoove me to squawk about it, for after all, nobody ever had to throw me down and pour liquor down my throat. There it is. It's funny because people are like, Bill's kind of mean. Dr. Bob was meaner. Listen to the way he's writing this. All right. I call this using my drink card. Sometimes you go to a place and you get a little punch thing and, okay, you get 2 free drinks. Oh, you used them both up. I used up my punch card and my wife's punch card. And if you gave me your punch card, oh, can you go get me a drink? You're buying one on for me. All right. If you think you are an atheist, an agnostic, a skeptic, or have any other form of intellectual pride which keeps you from accepting what is in this book, I feel sorry for you. Told you he was a little meaner. I think not meaner, but maybe a little bit more abrupt. He is a doctor. All right. If you think you are strong enough to beat the game alone, that is your affair. But if you really and truly want to quit drinking liquor for good and all and sincerely feel that you must have some help, we know that we have an answer for you. If it never fails, if you go about it with one half the zeal you have been in the habit of showing when you were getting another drink, your heavenly Father will never let you down. All right. That's going to be it for this trudge. I may be back at 11 again. That's usually when I do them. So I might be. Just kind of, it depends on how I feel. So, and if I have a decent topic. This one was a good one. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. It's good to see y'all. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.